you doing, guys? I just wanted to do another video today on what I read this morning, and I shared it earlier, and I just felt really motivated with this, and I'm glad I stumbled across this today. It was talking about basically when God uses our weaknesses to prove His glory. And there's so many times that we have in our trials, in our life, that we don't find the words to speak, or maybe we feel uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable times that we have in basically in our life is when God shines the greatest. And I looked at in the book of Exodus with Moses, and then sending the Israelites out of Egypt, basically as he was taking them along to the promised land. Moses realizes how inadequate he really is at times, but God chose him. And I think that happens with us a lot. I think a lot of us have that thing where God chose us, but yet we feel like we're not the one. We couldn't do this. Why would we ever do this? Look at me. I'm just, we have these, we focus on weaknesses. We think that we're not good enough. We think we'll never be good enough. But God chooses us to do so many different things at so many different times. Don't forget that His timing is the most important timing and the best timing that'll ever happen. So if He calls you, and when He calls you, you'll be ready. Not necessarily on your own time, but on His time, you're ready. And the thing about it is, in reading through Exodus chapter 4, I'm going to read these 3 verses, 4 verses, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And it basically talks about how Moses is pleading to God, why me? I'm this inferior person. I can't do anything. Basically, just woe is me. And God's like, no, I chose you to see this thing through to the end of when I call my will to be done for you. And it's the same thing that He does for all of us. So follow along with me. I'm on Exodus 4, verses 10 through 13. I'm reading through the NLT. You guys can read through in different versions. It says, "But Moses pleaded with the Lord, 'O Lord, I'm not very good with words. I never have been, and I'm not now. Even though you have spoken to me, I get tongue-tied and my words get tangled.' Then the Lord asked Moses, 'Who makes a person's mouth? Who decides whether people speak or do not speak? Hear or do not hear? See or do not see? It is not I, the Lord? Now go, I will be with you as you speak, and I will instruct you in the way and what to say.' But Moses again pleaded, 'Lord, please send anyone else.'" We've all had those times where, I know I definitely have had times where God is telling you something and it's plain as day, and you're like, there's no way I'm going to do this, because everything around you at that time is against what you want to do, against what God has got planned for you to do. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to be, when you're in that moment of growth in your faith, you're going to have that tug factor with Satan as well. Satan is not going to want you to advance the kingdom of God, whereas he is opposed to the kingdom of God. He wants nothing more to derail you. So he inflicts doubt, fear, inferiority into your life. But also, you have the choice, or the will, as we know as will, to decide whether or not you're going to let that tug factor, let Satan pull you apart from your plan, or fulfill God's plan. We definitely need accountability. We definitely need people to help us, and other elders or other people who are wise in their faith as well, to kind of guide you along and to discern those things, to discern those words and or thoughts and or feelings the Spirit has on you. And that's okay. But we saw here in Exodus 4 of how much Moses was like, I'm just not good enough, I'm tongue-tied. But then look at verse 11, and the Lord just lays the line down on him and says, I made your mouth, I gave you words to speak, I've given you life. When you stumble, I'm going to be at my best. When you're at your worst, I'm at my best. And who wouldn't want to be at the hands of the Lord's best? It's just amazing to think, but how much we as we push against it. But when you take the hindsight and you take the high road and you look back and go, that could have been, we could have done that thing. Or if you do it and go, oh man, that just is rewarding enough as it is. God is always going to present us opportunities to advance in our faith. And through the advancement of the faith, there's going to be times where we're going to be like Moses and saying, please send anyone else but me. Now, I want you guys to think about this. I want you to think about the things that's going on in your life that the Lord is pushing into you to go further or to advance, to be better, to do. And think about it, pray on it, go through Exodus forward and read through Moses' just plea of just fear to God, but God has shown him that there is no spirit of fear. I'm going to be there for you 24/7. I'm always there. So when the next time you ask the Lord to send anyone else, think about your plan. And think about how he made each one of us so wonderfully and beautifully made and individuals to each other that we have our own time, position, mission, life that God has distinctly made for us alone. So think about it when he does that. And be the one to say, Lord, send me. I'll go.